Hey, a playa, have you ever asked the question, why don't girls like me? What am I doing wrong? Or what are they doing wrong that they can't realize how good of a guy I am? Don't worry, I'm going to help you answer that question and get to the real answer that you're looking for.
This is the Just Beef, you're watching the Just Beef.
For those of you that are new here, my name is Josh, and every single Monday through Friday, I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. So if you want to learn and grow, hit the subscribe button and make sure to click on the notification bell. Now, there's generally two ways to look at this question. There's the self-reflection piece of it and asking yourself what you can do differently, and then there's the outside understanding. How is the world functioning and how can you function within it? First, I want us to look at the self-reflection piece. As you watch this video, I want you to really think about what your answers are for them. The first thing you should ask yourself is, do you believe in your ability to be somebody great? A big reason why people don't feel like girls like them is because they have no value. They bring nothing to the table. They're not anything special. They're not unique. They don't stand out. Maybe they're beta compared to alpha. All these different factors that hold you back. We live in a society where a person's worth tends to come from what they have or what they accomplish. So if you've never had a girlfriend before, you've never dated, you might feel like you are someone that's unlovable. You're not worthy of ever being in a relationship or worthy of ever finding someone to care about you, and that couldn't be anything further from the truth. It's so important to remember that there's no one else in this world quite like you. You bring your own unique thoughts, experiences, and ideas to the table, and that's what makes you have the ability to be somebody great. And if you don't believe in yourself to start, how do you expect anyone else to believe in you? You need to set that foundation that you are someone of value. You have worth. Your opinions matter. And if you can really believe in that, you can carry that forward. It's going to be easier to start approaching people and actually make relationships work. And while we're reflecting here, it's important to look at our own actions and see where we can make changes. A lot of times guys do the same type of things every time they talk to girls. They use the same lines, they approach the same way, they never change things up to see what works and what doesn't. And once you start to figure out what works and what doesn't, you can start to scrap the things that don't. Most guys don't think this way. They tend to see every rejection exactly the same, forgetting that the person that they're talking to is also unique. They also bring their own experiences. No two people rejecting you are doing it for the exact same reasons. So each time you get rejected, you should investigate. You should learn more. Try to understand what you can do differently the next time you approach someone else. Sometimes it really is just small things you can work on. Maybe you message that person a little too much and you need to kind of cool it. Message them only when they reply back. Or maybe you rush too quickly into romantic things and you start to say things like, I love you and I really want to date you, too early on. Either way, try to assess your own behavior before you start critiquing the outside world. Now, if you feel like your challenges are things outside of your control, like your height or the way that you look, or maybe you have a stuttering issue, it's important to focus on the things that highlight your personality, that highlight your uniqueness, that really make you special, the things that you're proud of about yourself. And that goes back to the first question. You need to recognize that you can be proud of yourself. Another thing that guys tend to do that really hurts their chances with finding a girl is that they blame girls for making the choices that they do. They get upset when a girl says no, or when a girl decides for herself, or when a girl just doesn't want to be with you. Look, if you're at the point where you're blaming someone for making a choice that you don't agree with based on their own understanding of the world and experiences, then you've totally relinquished all responsibility and what control you have here. You're expecting that person to make the decision that you want rather than really understanding the decision that they want. Trust me on this. I hear it all the time. Guys tend to blame girls and say things like, well, girls only like that type of guy and they'll never give this type of guy a chance. Everything rests on that girl making the decision that you want, instead of really exploring what she wants. Really asking the question, what's her personality like? What does she like to do for fun? What type of person would enhance her life and really attract her in some way? If you can escape the blame game and start asking the question, what can I do rather than what are they doing? I think you're going to have a lot more success because you're being proactive and not reactive. And I would say another major thing that guys tend to do that hurts their chances with girls is that they come off desperate. They're so focused on being with a girl, on having a girlfriend, on finding someone that they lose sight of themselves. They lose sight of what they bring to the table because they're so focused on pulling someone in. When you're desperate and you want it and you're chasing it so bad, you start to become so focused on the idea of being with a girl and you start to forget that there's a person on the other side of that equation, a person with thoughts and feelings and experiences. And those are the things you should be working to connect with, not the idea of just being being with a girl. So if you really want to change things and you want to answer that question, why don't girls like me? You need to start at the root, and the root is working on yourself. Once you can feel comfortable with who you are and what you bring to the table, it's going to be so much easier for you to approach people, to not worry about gaining their approval or having them like you, but just in being yourself around them. Because it's only in being your honest self that people can open up, feel comfortable with you, and want to be with you. What do you think though? Do you totally disagree with everything I said and you're just too jaded because women suck and everyone sucks and life sucks? If you are, leave your comments down below. Let me know your experience with dealing with these feelings of not having girls like you. The learning doesn't end there though. If you want to learn how to be your best self, you should definitely check out my book Embracing the Awkward, which is a guide for you to succeed at school, life, and relationships. All the different areas where people tend to struggle with social interactions. Also, tap on the playlist right there on your screen to watch more videos that are dating tips for beginners. These videos are going to help you get comfortable with approaching people, asking them out on a date, and just making those initial stages work. Check out those videos, check out the book, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. As always, love and peace.